Hey, everybody, welcome back into Body Time. Harry McCullough here. We're talking United Way today, and Lena Merlos is the executive director of the United Way for South Louisiana. Ashley Barahona is also with the United Way, but you also do a little Terrebonne Foundation for Academic Excellence. So, man, thank you guys for being with us. And we start every show, it seems like, right, for the last 3 years. We're like, well, we had to make it through COVID. Then we got smacked by Hurricane Ida. And then every storm we go, yeah, we're. So we want to talk about recovery. We want to talk about a new campaign that you guys, obviously with the United Way, is coming up. But before we do, I guess we need to talk about, we got another hurricane season that's a couple of days away.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know, we were talking about some models that had a Cat 5 coming up in May, and it was just a model, right? It wasn't, but the internet ran wild with it for a little while. Yeah. And we got people talking about it. It's you know, it's not going to happen, you know. But hurricane season is right away. We've had some hurricanes and things that have come around, and we just don't want to get hit like Lake Charles. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
Right.
But we need to be prepared about it, right? And I guess we've talked about there's probably almost 10,000 people in temporary housing right now, right? Trailers in the front yard,
trailers, whether in an apartment, you know. It's cyclical, and I mean United Way is very cyclical. You know, we finish one campaign, we fund 20 different programs in a 4-parish area, anywhere from meals for the elderly to medicine that people need that can't afford it. But now we've taken on a new job, and that was right after the storm ended. United Way hit the ground. You know, it was boots on the ground. We gave out non-perishable food, water, you know, life-saving things that people needed that you couldn't, even if you had money, you couldn't buy. The stores weren't open. So we did these pop-ups in Lafourche Parish and Terrebonne Parish, down to Bahia, up to Bahia, you know, just to make sure that people had the supplies that they needed. Once that was done, we then moved on, and we were lucky enough to get a grant, so we hired Ashley as our long-term recovery manager. So now we're moving into, you know, we've spent probably over $85,000 paying for people's rent, a little bit of utilities, because their house was damaged. So they ended up having to move into either an apartment, they had to move into whatever. They just couldn't live in their house. So right now, that long-term recovery is hopefully helping these people through the FEMA process so that, you know, the appeals process, because FEMA's first thing is they're going to tell you no.
Right, of course.
Here's $500.
It's a strategy.
Go away. Yeah. So, but for a lot of people, they do qualify for a lot more than that. And it's not just SBA, you know, because SBA, you got to pay it back. But FEMA does do grants where people don't have to pay it back. You just have to know the system. Right. But right now, we need to start thinking, you know, that's the next phase, is that hurricane season is right around the corner. Sure. And you cannot spend a hurricane, or like, you know, as we were just talking with Ashley, you can't spend a tropical storm in these trailers.
Right.
They're just not meant for that.
So a lot of those folks from, I think the last time you were here, a lot of people from the high rise are now out by Rebecca Plantation out there, kind of by the truck stop. And there's a new little community out there. Yeah. If we have to move everybody, and Ashley, I guess you can talk about this, if we had to make an evacuation plan right now, and Monroe, I think, is one of the places where we go, they don't have a facility big enough to house 10,000 people that may be in trailers.
Well, you know,
hopefully not everybody goes, but you know.
And that's why, as an individual in the community, you have to have a plan for yourself. You know, make sure if you have a family member that is living in one of those trailers or whatnot, that they have a plan as well. So, you know, the Office of Emergency Preparedness is really gearing up for this hurricane season, because that's a huge concern for members, residents, especially our elderly in this community, is where they're going to go, what are they going to do. And I know we don't want to think about it because we still are recovering from Ida. But these are the things we need to put in place as we move to that June 1st start of hurricane season. And you're right, those trailers are not even equipped for a very, you know, large storm or a rainstorm. Thunderstorm. So you definitely don't want to be caught stuck in one of those trailers if we do have a category 1 or, you know.
Well, all you got to do is just get a little elevation, right? If you drive over a bridge, you can look down and see blue tarps everywhere besides the trailer. So, you know, not everybody's whole by any means.
No, this is going to be, it's years of process, you know, and Ashley and I both learned that. We were like, really?
You guys are still working on your building.
Exactly.
Right?
I mean, we're like this close to moving back in, but we still, it's a process, and it's one of those things where, even if the insurance gave you some money, we did get a little bit of money from the insurance, but it's getting somebody to come to your plate. I don't know how to hang sheetrock.
Right.
Even if
Finding a
eventually
contractor.
I could probably
Right,
figure it
right,
out, but it's not going to look real good.
Right. Yeah, insurance not going to be real
It's like
fired up about
real
that.
homespun,
Right.
if I had to do it. So it's trying to get somebody to your house. So if we're in that process, so are a lot of other people.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like you said, I think if Lake Charles showed us anything, is that
happen.
as you drive through Lake Charles, whether you're going to Houston or wherever in Texas, and you have to go through Lake Charles, there's still a lot of blue tarps.
Sure.
And
And
what
it happened
Ash
2
and I
years in a row in Lake
learned
Charles.
is
Right.
that initial phase where you are having to have the pop-ups where they're handing out MREs and they're handing out water, for every month of that, where people don't have electricity, they can't get back in their house, whatever, that is a year of recovery.
Right.
So if you look at downtown Homa, you're looking at like a month or two that, they cleaned up the street. We had a couple buildings that came down, so they had to clean that up. Getting the electricity to come on and stay on, because they're still repairing
Oh,
some
sure.
of these lines.
Yeah.
For everything like that, it's a year of recovery.
We had a race recently. Let's just touch on it. Y'all had a good race.
Oh,
but-
yeah. The Terrebonne Foundation for Academic Excellence, our 5K Run for Excellence and Food Festival was a great, great turnout. We had beautiful weather, great partnerships, and it was fabulous. Couldn't have asked for a better time for our educators and for education in Terrebonne Parish, because we're talking about storms and recovery.
Yeah.
United Way and TFA teamed up to help the classrooms.
Yeah,
in the
those
parish
schools
and the
were not immune,
teachers,
right?
and they were not immune,
Yeah.
and they're still not. I
Right.
mean, they're still displaced, much like United Way
Right.
is displaced. So.
Yeah. I talked to those superintendents. They've been more contractors and insurance
No,
adjusters
definitely.
than
Yes.
educators.
No, we just
this last
finished
year.
with Terrebonne Parish. We gave out
11,
12,000 here, and then we have another 11,000. We're going to buy uniforms in Lafourche Parish,
Yeah.
which we might wait until September to do that,
Correct.
just so that kids could get back to school.
So you guys have a campaign, though, right? That you're
Definitely,
kicking
we're
off right
finished. We're finishing up one campaign, which is way late. I mean, for 4 months we hauled water.
now. If it's 3 years
Why?
late, we understand.
Right on time.
Yeah, really. I need knee surgery now, I think, but I have a brace on my leg today. But so campaign was very late, so we had to push everything back. But so we're probably going to close in June and then start up again. But I mean, this is a great time, kind of like with the race, and get involved with your schools. It's also a great time to get involved with United Way, because we're doing, like I said, our job now is not just providing like meals for the elderly, medicine, a safe haven for women and children who are victims of domestic violence, but we're also having to do long-term recovery. And that long-term recovery, like I said, is going to take years to be able to do that. But we're committed, especially in the two parish area, because we do cover Lafourche Parish as well, to make sure that people get back in their homes. But when we brought Ashley on, United Way is technically paying Ashley's salary, but we really lent her out to the community. So she is.
Come along.
Thank you. Cut grass?
Yeah, right. No, she's working with
I'll build your
BAR,
house.
and United Way has been a member of BAR for a very, very long time. I could never remember what the acronym stands for, so that's why I have Ashley here today.
What is Bayou?
It's
Yeah.
the Bayou Area Regional Recovery.
Okay.
Right, and it's
So it keeps everybody on the same page and don't know
right. We
duplicates. that kind of
stood,
stuff.
and so Ashley's been calling the meetings, and so BAR as a whole is very many. I forget how many organizations belong to that.
At least 40 plus.
But then we also have the needs committee, the needs assessment committee, and that's to be able to belong to that, you either have to have volunteers who are going to go into somebody's house and hang their sheetrock, or you have to have money so
Right.
that you pay for somebody
Sure.
to go in somebody's house
Yeah.
and do that. So United Way has been, we did it during Katrina. It was the last time probably that we had something, Katrina Rita, that we had something this big, but this time it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a while.
Well, look, this is obviously, we always talk about the last 2 years and then the storm. So it's really easy to feel sorry for yourself. But if you didn't get affected that much, this ought to be a time of gratitude and a time of giving back, right?
One thing we've learned with IDA is that, even with the United Way campaign, a lot of our services are given to individuals, like Alina said, that were, either elderly or in an abuse situation. But one thing we learned from Hurricane Ida is that at any point in time, we can all be in a situation that needs a nonprofit to step up and to help them in time of needs. So either you're currently giving with the United Way campaign, or you thought, well, I'll never need that, so I won't even help. This is, one thing that's taught us is that I may need a service.
Absolutely.
In the time of need, we want to make sure that those non-governmental organizations, those nonprofits in the community that are impacting our lives, are there to continue those services. And so if you haven't been involved, this is the time to step up and get involved, either with United Way or any community organization, and especially BAR if you're a nonprofit, to help with the collaboration efforts to really make sure that we are providing the community with information of what you're doing, and make sure we're not duplicating services in the community, so that we can stretch those services as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody wants to help their community, and sometimes you don't know what to do. Hey, what can I do? That's also a good way to kind of
Yeah.
No,
help
it
find
is.
out.
I mean, because like I said, in our case, when we came back, and we've learned this, and we're getting ready to start doing it again, is the Pack the Bus school supply drive. And like I said, I was driving, and we had just delivered a record-setting amount of school supplies, and I was in the car going, oh man, it's probably like waterlogged,
Right.
all
Oh,
of
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, some of it did get ruined, but like Lafourche Parish had already given all theirs out. Terrebonne had given probably 90% of theirs out. So at least it got to the kids. But if the kid left it in the classroom, and this is what we learned,
Their
the
house.
reason that we came up with, that we the bank and us get together for this this particular drive, is that a lot of people think, oh, they're just waiting for somebody to take care of this for them. They're not. These parents, they're living paycheck to paycheck, so they save all that money to buy those school supplies. But once they've spent that money, it's gone.
Yeah, right. Right.
So, given writing a check to Ashley and to the foundation in Lafourche right after the storm was, every once in a while, I really do enjoy my job. And that was a great day that we were able to, these parents came through. They were so appreciative, and that, all I had to do was write a check and show up and take pictures.
Right,
Because
right.
Ashley took care of it.
That's a good thing.
And it gives the kids the tools that they need to succeed in the classroom. And that's the ultimate goal, is to make sure that our community, our residents, those who are less fortunate, and even ourselves, if we find ourselves in a situation where we need a hand up, that we're here to provide those services.
No, I mean, look, this year, I mean, that was kind of our 9/11. I don't want to, compare anything like that, but it was like that. Everybody was in, we need help.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. And it's also a good way to bring everybody together.
Yeah.
All right. Lena, Ashley, thank you guys.
Thank you, Harry.
Appreciate
Harry.
it. We'll be right back with more Bite Time right after this.